got Assassination 1 together with Shilpas and the Frost DK. We got FGK over on the Unholy with Diabolicals and Parasite in the back, ready to go with Short and Deadly winning this turn with GTK and Kevin Landers first up versus one another. Double Unholy Death Knight with Kevin immediately popping up AMS. GTK mirroring that with an AMS of their own. Both of them got the big A-bombs. They're just going mad. Are the A-bombs attacking the shoulder or the attacking Death Knights? One of the A-bombs got absolutely eliminated in that cleave. My goodness, this was just a blender of attacks. Kevin so far did end up coming out on top of that first encounter. GTK a bit on the back foot as they're trying to find a way to fight through Kevin's attacks. Gonna be GTK empowering his main pet army, joining back into Kevin, getting hit with a bit of a silence, doing a lot of damage. Stun into GTK, doesn't break it out of his stun into Kevin, trying to see if he can summon a new pet with a sacrifice, but I think Kevin may just have him here looking for the cleave, and does end up just overrunning him and overpowering him with the army of his own. Diabolicals backing up away from Kevin for just a moment, trying to see if he can maybe get an army of his own, but as long as Kevin stays super hyper aggressive here, it doesn't let Diabolicals play the game, he may be alright. Does go for the stun off of that. Oh my god, the stun onto a Tyrant was perfect. Kevin looks like backing up for a second. Diabolical's trying to get himself a full set of pets with a Tyrant. It looks like he's having to delay it a little bit. Kevin surrounded by the army of the demons, trying to see if maybe Deathstrix will keep him alive here. Death calls off a Legendborn just to keep himself a bit recovered. Mordecai sending him out. Grip onto Diabolicals for just a moment. Kevin barely alive, barely struggling to live this. Does empower his main pet. Doesn't have any more healing. Deathstrix is not going to be enough with Diabolicals. With his main pet and everything, does end up overpowering the Death Knight, but the man did walk in with a lack of defenses after trying to fight the onslaught that is the other Death Knight. Riz bot up next, sending out the Flame Shock over to Diabolicals, trying to set up for a Stormkeeper too. Diabolicals may just want to wait and hold the fort in the back for a bit here. Maybe Tyrant? Potentially does get rooted out. Gonna be minute chicken for Rizbot. Maybe can he give himself the biggest damage possible? Big zaps onto Diabolicals with a, I think it was the Sky Fury. It's gonna go for big love burst and follow. Diabolicals took a bit of damage, but before the damage ramps up any higher, this is a backup out of there. Riz still himself with a big crit damage buff with the Sky Fury totem. Does he have Fire Elemental? He does have Fire Ellie. But I think it's just kind of passively sitting over there. Light and Lasso Diabolicals does end up breaking out of it with the Axe Toss of the main pet, empowering his pets with the Obelisk too. Riz could potentially be in a bit of trouble. Does jump down over the platform and could potentially just go for a bit of healing. Sky Fury down while healing himself. Does go for the Dark Iron Racial in order to remove any kind of dots. Also give himself a little bit extra intellect buff. Trying to see if he can catch up to Diabolicals, but I think Demon Bolts, yeah. Those do end up taking him out with a Zeman. What happened? How? I blinked and the man was just literally on the... Okay, that was... What? Okay. Alright. I'm not sure what happened. I'm sorry, what? What happened? Mordecai, but Diabolicals apparently Diabolicals just blasted these boys as KSM. Not really doing all that good porting run on top of the guy, putting so much pressure, forcing him into a disperse. Diabolicals is just taking names right now. Flashlights around the corner, does get to avoid the Shadow Fury by the Warlock. Axe Toss locking him down. I don't know if he has much of a play. Stun on Diabolicals, even if you're all these pets, you need to give yourself a big heal. But the Demon Doggers do end up taking you out. That is rough, man. That is so rough. Chicago is the Elemental Shaman, last one left. Big damage on the Diabolicals, trying to see if we can deal with Chicago. Chicago with the Ancestral, trying to go for a little bit of a heal. Lava Burst doesn't really get the proc. Trinkets though, trying to see if we can end Diabolicals right there. Static Totem, putting him back out in the open. Can't really kill that Totem easily. Every Lava Burst could give Chicago the proc they need, and they got a lot of Lava Burst procs. That's a lot of consistent damage for him to work with. Interrupt him on that Breath Summon, and there goes the Lava Burst flying in right afterwards. Might have been a Primordial there too. Chippa's walking in with a big blitz. Gonna be immediate lasso by Chicago. Can they fight the Frost Death Knight? Does need to knock him back. There goes the knock with the Ruin. Actually could give Chicago a perfect opportunity to fight Chilpos. The fact that you are on a raised platform that is the Dalaran sewers, you could always send Chilpos flying. You got yourself that Elemental Mastery, and you also got yourself the Thunderstorm. So if you time it right, if you line it up at the right angle, you could potentially just send the guy flying all over the place. Chillpus trying to see if he can blast out the big damage on Chicago as he got himself a big primordial. Chillpus could potentially be in trouble. Big Earthstrike to follow. Static Totem just ends up walking passive with an AMS. Blind on Chicago, maybe in a bit of trouble. Do they maybe have another knockback? Stunned by Chills. Try to see if he can end him right here. Does go for a knock. Maybe Chicago lives this. Barely alive. Oh my god, the diseases almost get him down. Panda Racial. Does he end up taking him out here? Do you see one more obliterate? Goes in for an interrupt, but I think it's over for Chicago. Yeah, it's over. My goodness. That was a lot of damage by the Warlock. Diabolicals, what did you do to Damon? Parasite gonna be first up versus Airless. Already getting in with a blind as the man is putting some pressure on the rogue from Moonguard. Man goes over the Garrote. Kitty shot to follow. Immediate trick out on Parasite. Metamorphosis right after is gonna be able to activate a demon spawn. Imprison onto Airless for just a second. Fear to follow is gonna have the demon spawning in as well. Potentially big damage to Airless. Massive hunt to follow. Cloaker Shadows by the rogue. Trying to see if he can deny some of the damage. Big cleaves by the Soul Cleave though. Soul Cleave and just stun right after. Mages be going down. Double Cleave. Oh my god, the amount of damage out of this Demon Hunter off that fear is just so much pressure, so much output. Trying to see if he can fight through Chicago. Chicago looking for a bit of a knockback. Big blade dance out of the oh, you're elemental now. Okay, that's new. But Parasite trying to see if he can fight through Chicago. Can he do it? Got himself the I-beam. Maybe Sigil? I don't know if Sigil's up. Lasso? I think it's over for the Demon Hunter, man. Oh my. Maybe not. Maybe not. Got himself a heal. Hold on. The man may be coming out on top, potentially. Chicago with a trinket. Trying to see if he can blast out the Demon Hunter. Big zaps to fall as darkness comes down. And darkness just couldn't absorb, couldn't ground down any of this lightning bolts. And Chicago got himself a bit of an earthquake onto Diabolicals. Is going to send out some Demon Duggars. And for Chicago, I imagine having all those pets with the Flame Shock crawling should give Chicago a lot of Lava Burst value. Earth Elemental is joining in, giving Chicago quite a bit of a survivability. Axe off in Chicago for the second, knocking the pets back for a moment as Diabolical's trying to see if they can get a better angle. Got the Demon Duggars in with a Tyrant. Chicago may be in a bit of trouble. May have to potentially get the pets on their Earthquake. Maybe in a lot of trouble. Axe toss with the Tyrant blasting out completely. Chicago with a wall generation, trying to see if he can give himself a little bit of survivability. Lava Burst sent in to Diabolicals, but it still isn't able to really break through the defenses of a Warlock. Diabolicals going in for a bit of a backup for a moment. Maybe Chicago potentially could get himself a big Earthshock lightning bolt, but I think it's over. Unless it live somehow. My goodness, the Demon Dog is buying around the corner, just blasts him out. That's a lot of damage. Insane. It is a lot of damage to both of these castles, man. Silence, maybe the pets are gonna get horrified. All the pets get feared out in all directions, or at least horrified in all directions. Stun onto Diabolicals, has himself a shield. Mind games to follow. Whatever damage he does, the chance is gonna end up killing the Shadow Priest. Whatever healing Diabolicals tries to give himself, it isn't gonna end up hurting him. So he's kind of in a bad spot right now for just a moment. Chance with the PI has a lot of damage at the ready, but Diabolical's bailing out of it entirely. Got a couple of demon bolts around the corner. Lots of demons doing a ton of damage behind the pillar. Doesn't even have to be over there on top of Chance just to get the damage up and running. Executes coming out for Chance. May have enough here potentially. Rude onto Diabolicals. Does have himself a wall. And it's going to be a full Tyrant join in. Diabolicals under a ton of pressure. Not a lot of health available. Chance could potentially have him. Does he have the procs he needs? He just needs a little bit more, but he's up with the demons. Oh my god. The Tyrant just kept blasting him out from around the corner. Linthania goes in to execute and finish the job with Short and Deadly charging in Stormbolt on Linthania. Immediately, human racial trinkets out of it. Spear off of the gouge. Big Blaze Storm. Linthania may be in a bit of trouble. No more evasion. Has a Cloak of Shadows, but it's only so much damage you can really do about it. Vanish for just a second. Short Deadly trying to see if he can randomly get him out, but doesn't quite do it. Linthania does still have a bleed on him. Lead by the Warrior. Does it catch back up to Linthania? Gonna be a bit of a battle stance for the Warrior with a parry. Linthania is kind of limited what they can do, but I think the ambushes do bypass the parry. But you can't bypass the big old execute by the Warrior. Charging back into Var immediately. Defensive stance right afterwards. Got a couple of big executes. Yet another charge. Var is going to take a lot of freebie damage. Stun onto Short and Deadly. Doesn't man have any survivability. Maybe he can go for Rally Cry. Oh! Not even given a chance. Just cleaved it down in the arena. That is unforged bubble for Var. And GDK taking so much damage. What is going on? The Paladin Burst is out of this world. It's actually out of control. Trinkets out of it just to break out of the fear. That's gonna be chill. Last one left over for the team too. Gripping him back in over and over. Big old shield of vengeance available for the Paladin. I don't know if he survived this one. Maybe lay on hands? Blind? I think it's over, right? There's no way. Yeah, there's just no way. He's just waiting for you with that obliterate. Nothing he can do about it. My god, there was a lot of damage from everybody in that team. The burst is unreal. What was that Demon Hunter burst in the opener? I really want to see that again.